designing using our software. So you have gone through the stage of creating your creative brief or working on your creative brief, down to researching, to ideation, and now we are down to production, where you have to actually translate what you had worked on as a sketch from the ideation phase to the production phase. First, you need to know the kind of software you're going to be using to create your project. The software you will need in creating a flyer may or may not be the same that you're going to need to create a logo. A flyer is very versatile. You can work on a raster-based software like Photoshop, or you can work on a vector-based software like Illustrator. But with logos, I would advise that you use a vector-based software, because if in case you want to scale up that logo maybe to a very wide size like billboard, using a vector format or vector file format will make sure that the quality is still maintained no matter how large it's been scaled. So you need to understand exactly what you're going to be delivering to the client. Is it going to be something that is just going to be shared only on social media or on screen or an online platform, or is it going to be something that is going to be shared physically like a flyer or maybe pasted like a poster? You need to understand this from the start, because it's going to help you to know how to set up your file when you're working on your software. So let's say you're working on a flyer that is supposed to be advertised or used on social media. You need to set up your file to be like RGB, and you're going to have to put it at a 72 pixel resolution. If it's something that is going to be for print, you will need to choose CMYK at a 300 pixel, which is just the basis. It might vary depending on the printer, which takes me to the fact that you need to understand who exactly is going to be printing your files. You need to talk to the clients. You need to ask them if they have an idea of who is going to be printing, then they can link you both up, so you get to understand how the print or how to set up your print files, because they know how their printers are going to work, so they will know exactly what setting you can use to make it better for them or to produce a better quality when the file has been printed out. So you talk to the printers or talk to the clients. If they don't have somebody, maybe you have somebody that you can recommend to them, you definitely have to link up to the printer so that it will not give you so much work. I've faced situations where I had to work on a roll-up and I was forced to go back to change the resolution of the roll-up and to change the color file of the roll-up, just because I did not know exactly what was supposed to be used. I knew that basically if you want to print out something, it's going to be CMYK, but that particular printer required an RGB file rather than CMYK, so I was forced to go back and change it. So these are the kind of things that I learned on the job. But you might not have to do that, or you might have to do that. Then that's the beauty about designing. It's a whole experience, and you actually have to learn. It's a process. You learn every day. You learn today. No matter how expert or no matter how professional you think you are, you're always going to learn something new. At the production stage, you need to understand all of these aspects in order to make sure that you deliver a product or you deliver a design that is going to be suitable to the clients and to their audience. We're talking about the logo design. You need to understand if you're going to give the clients the source files. So a source file is going to be something like, if you're working on Illustrator, the source file is going to be AI. If you're working on Photoshop, which I still advise against for logo design, the source file is going to be the PS or the PSD file that you're going to deliver to them, so they can edit it whenever they want, or they can deliver this to maybe other future designers if they don't come back to you to work with you again. So you need to know exactly the kind of source files you're going to give to the clients. You need to know if they're going to need other file formats. If they're going to be using the logo on a website, you definitely need to prepare a file format for the web and the file format for printing. Understanding these various aspects of production is going to make sure that your design process is quite seamless. It doesn't mean that it's going to be totally seamless. You might have situations or hitches throughout the process, either from your side or from that of the client, especially if you have to be receiving or when you have to be receiving feedback from the client. But going through the phase of working on your creative brief, going through the stage of researching, down to ideation, and finally to production is going to make it easier for you to work and deliver projects that will not need a lot of back and forth and confusion within the design process. Make sure that you understand exactly what the creative brief is. Make sure that you understand how to use or go through the creative process before handling any project as a creative or as a graphic designer.